What's up guys, and welcome back to FIFA. Well actually, welcome to FIFA 18, and well, a new FIFA means a new career mode. So we're going to dive in, we're going to get ourselves another road to glory, and find ourselves another team in League 2, and hopefully get them into Europe, win the possibly win the Champions League. That is probably the overall target. But I think, first of all, get out of the League 2 is the initial target, and we're going to be playing as Lincoln. Well, I absolutely murdered that name. Lincoln City, who captured the hearts, I think it's fair to say, of football fans around England and Scotland and basically anywhere else who watched the FA Cup last season, getting all the way to the quarterfinals before Arsenal, bloody Arsenal, had to knock them out in the quarterfinals. So we're going to play as them. They've got pretty decent expectations, actually. Financial expectations are low, which is good. That was something I had to worry, like, with my Markham career last season. I had to deal with a lot of financial restrictions. Well, not restrictions, but the club wanted me to do things financially that were just not really feasible. So I think having a low financial expectations is actually a very good thing to have. Domestic success, they have a 3, which is quite interesting. I don't know what they're expecting, given that they have just been promoted into League 2. They were a non-league side last season, so it's yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do, like what their expectations actually are for this season. Right, we're going to be playing in Court Lane, which, although this stadium actually has a capacity of about 9,000 more than Lincoln's actual stadium has, last season when we played in Town Court, or Town whatever it is, it's only a 10,000 seater stadium, which is the smallest one in FIFA, but it just looked absolutely ridiculous when we were playing Champions League football in a stadium that's like designed for League 2. So this is a slightly larger stadium than Lincoln actually have, but having a look at the photos of Lincoln's stadium, this actually looks kind of similar. I think this looks pretty similar to what their stadium actually looks like, and it's only like 9,000 more than their actual stadium. So when we actually make it to the Premier League and stuff like that, we won't look completely out of place playing in a stadium like this. It will be still smaller than pretty much every other stadium. Bournemouth have is it a 14,000 seater stadium Bournemouth have? So it is like it would fit fine, I think, in the Premier League a stadium like this. And we have called it Sincilbank, which is the name of the stadium, although I'm not sure that actually has any effect on the game whatsoever. I like last season I named the stadium the correct thing with the Markham career, and it just called it Town whatever it was anyway, and I was like, right, okay, fine, whatever. Well, that doesn't really affect us. No, we kind of want our first transfer window so we can actually bring in some players, because I think this team is probably, although it's not bad, I don't think it's going to be the best of squads to be trying to get straight through the League 2 immediately. And I think, like, our focus this season, I don't think it is to win it. I think that's, like, out of the question. With my Markham career, I didn't win. I don't think I won my first 2 seasons. I think I got through, I got promoted both my first and second season. We got back-to-back promotions, but they were through the playoffs. Actually, I think second season may have been finishing second, but I think we had to go through the playoffs in the first season with Markham. So that's probably our target this season, is to just make the playoffs, and it gives us a chance of getting through. I'll have a look through our squad and see if there's any obvious areas we need improving. Right, so we've been invited to some pre-season tournaments, which is surprising given that we're a League 2 team, but we shall take them up on it. Germany, possibly? We're going to be playing, I mean, that gives us the most money, but it's only by about 40 grand over this one. Although it's actually an easier tournament and it pays better. So I think we'll be doing the European International Cup, which, well, Motherwell are in it, which kind of says it all. I think the hardest team in there is Wolfsburg, Werder Bremen even. I think we could do alright in that, so we'll take that and see if we can get some early money in the bank and make a few early transfers. So let's have a look at our squad. It's actually looking pretty decent. That's how deep is it? It's got a fair bit of depth. It could be better. Yeah, it could be. Well, actually, We're missing 2 players from our bench because this International Cup obviously only allows us 5 substitutions. So we actually only have 5 reserve players. So we probably do need a bit extra depth. It's not the... if we lose... How many strikers do we have? Well, we've got a striker playing Cam, so we've got 4 strikers. Is there anywhere we're obviously lacking? Fullback area we might be missing. I think we might need to bring in another left back. We have Dickey can play right back. We already have a right back position there, and we have another right back on the bench. But I don't think any of our centre backs can play right back, unless we have like a midfielder who can play right back. I think we may need to look at bringing in another right back, because as it is, we've got a centre mid playing out left. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have to bring in another left back. Habergam is looking pretty decent, 62 rated, but we could probably do with a backup just in case he gets injured. Which, I mean, it's my luck that the one injury we'll get will be the one player that we have no replacement for. So it's probably worth trying to get one back. I think what I might do is I might look at the go and have a look at the free agents, because I do tend to find quite a lot of good stuff in the free agents. This is what I did at the start of my Markham career as well. If you just have a quick wee look through of your free agents, you can find quite a lot of decent players that you can bring in pretty cheaply. Right, so let's have a look. Is there any left backs that are currently looking for club? Right, we'll send out the scouts, and we'll see if we can find a left back who actually looks like he could fit in the team. What is this? Why is his head so big? What's happened here? Why is his image like twice the size of everybody else's? All right, fair enough. Oh, there it goes. It's fixed itself. That was interesting. Right. Okay. So we've sent out the agent. We're scouting probably about 20 different left backs. So hopefully we find one who's actually decent. It's probably going to take him a couple of weeks before he gets back to us, and we can find out if any of them are actually any good or not. But it's always worth just having a quick wee look through your free agents, because you can find some really good young talent in there that just doesn't, for some reason, have a club. What's our objectives? Right. Okay. So domestic success. They want us to fight for promotion. Fair enough. And reach the round 32 in the FA Cup. Financial, there is no objectives, thank goodness for that. Right, so they want us to grow a youth academy player by 5 points, and then sign him, and then play him in our starting 11 or as a sub 5 times, which, I mean, that's doable. Providing we find some decent youth immediately, that'd be quite nice. Right, what we'll do is we shall get ourselves a youth scout, right, we can't afford, how much money do we have? 1.7 million. Absolutely rolling in it. So, given that this guy costs about 3 times as much as this guy, and he only has 1 star more, I think we'll go with Lance Baker. We shall sign, and we shall send him halfway around the world. It's well known that if you send people to Brazil and Argentina, you find the best youth players. So we'll send him. It's going to cost us quite a hefty amount of money. Do I want to send him for 9 months? Yeah, okay, we'll send him for 9 months. We'll commit. We'll send him for 9 months. We'll send him to Brazil. Hopefully, he returns us some absolutely stunning-looking young players, and in the stats factor, not anything else. We're not going there. Yeah, and we'll hopefully find ourselves some very, very good-looking youth academy players that we can then bring into our first team and start building from the base, basically, building up from the youth academy, and by the time we get to the Premier League, we should have some very good-looking young players that have come through our youth academies and that are looking like they're going to be something special in the future. But I think I shall end this here, and we shall join back at the end of transfer deadline day, and we'll find out what has happened, if we have actually found any left backs, and yeah, see what's going on around the league. So we'll, well, yeah, I'll see you in a second. Alright guys, so we've made it transfer deadline day. I mean, it really wasn't in doubt that we were going to make it through to transfer deadline day. It was about a month, and yeah, we've had some dealings. Some dealings have been done. Icardi from Inter to Real Madrid for £65 million. It's the highest transfer of the window. It's pretty hefty. Marco Reus as well has moved from Dortmund to Chelsea for £57 million. He is now, I think, 28. So he is a bit hefty. I just noticed Felipe Luis has signed for Napoli for £26 million. That just came up on the breaking news at the top as well. There, it's not in any of the deals, the latest or top deals, but that's an interesting move from them. There you go, good player that they've managed to sign. £26 million is pretty cheap for a player of the rating of Felipe Luis. But anyway, back to our top deals. Royce, I think he's 28 now, so that is quite a hefty amount of money to spend. I mean, he's probably in his prime, so I don't know if he'll get much better. He might get a little bit better before he starts going downhill, but yeah, 57 million is quite a hefty amount of money for him. And also Koulibaly from Napoli, Napoli to Paris Saint-Germain for 44,700,000. That's a bit of an odd figure, but anyway, yeah, not much to say about that. PSG have got themselves a pretty decent player, I'd imagine. He looks like he's, every time I play against Napoli and like either just randomly playing a game of playing a kickoff game or online or whatever, Koulibaly is an absolute beast. So yeah, I don't look forward to ever having to play PSG, given that he's going to be in the squad. But yeah, they've got themselves another nice player there as well. And also I noticed here, Mark Albrighton from Leicester to Watford for £10.5 million. That's an interesting deal. Selling a player to, well, I don't know if you would call him a rival so much. I mean, I suppose they probably are rivals. Don't know where Leicester would be expected to finish in the league. I'm imagining Watford's targets are just to not get relegated. For Leicester, I don't really know whether their targets are to try and finish sort of top half, or if their targets are to not get relegated. But it is, selling one of your a decent player to one of your rivals in the same league as you. So it's an interesting deal. But £10.5 million, it's probably a pretty decent deal Watford have got themselves there. So, well, actually no, that's quite expensive. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're going to carry on. We're going to have a look at some of the stuff I've done. We have signed 3 players, and 2 of them are Peruvian players. This lad, we have signed a left back, given that we only had 1 left back. We've found this lad on the free agent list, Loyola. Probably Loyola. Signed him for, I think he's only on like $3,000 a week, which is pretty decent going. And he's not bad. 63 rated. He's better than the left back we had, which is this guy Habergam, who's 62 rated. How old is this guy? 25. And Loyola, I think, is about the same age. 22. So yeah, we've got ourselves a better player and a younger player. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that dealing off the free agent list. We also signed this lad, whose name I actually had to look up how to pronounce it, because he's, where is he from? He's Swedish, and as far as I can tell, the M is silent. So I think his name's Johan Rabiti. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But yeah. Anyway, he's a cam. I discovered that our cam that we had playing in this position was actually this lad Palmer, who's a striker. He's also 6'5" and pretty damn slow. He's a big physical lad, going to use him to like bring the ball down. He's not going to be running in behind at all. So he's kind of, I think he was playing more of a centre forward sort of role, just kind of, letting Matt Green run off him, and Palmer would just bring the balls down, lay them on for Green, and Green would make the runs in behind. This lad's more of a creative sort of midfielder, a lot more sort of agility and balance and stuff like that, much more. Yeah, well, more creative. He's faster and everything else. So far, he's had a very good start to his life here. He's been doing very well. I think he's scored a couple of goals for us, and yeah, he's got himself into the first team immediately. Well, I had to go through the new transfer negotiation stuff that FIFA have put in this year, which has got it's like a little cutscene where you've got to go through and you've got to negotiate terms and fees and how often your player is going to play, and if you want to put add-on fees and everything else. It's quite complex, but He actually rejected us first time. We got an agreement with his club, which I can't remember who he played for. It was some Swedish club. We got agreement with them on the price, and then he actually rejected us because I offered him like $1,000 less a week than he was asking for, and he was like they just were like, no, not having it, and walked out. Luckily, a few weeks later, he was actually available to talk to again, so I put in another offer for him, got him accepted again, and then this time, when we came to contract negotiations, I offered him slightly less than he was asking for, but I gave him a signing bonus, and he actually agreed to it. So he's I think he's on like 3,900 a week, which kind of fits in with everything else. It's nothing massive. One of our higher paid players, but he's our best player as well. So yeah, I'm quite happy with him. We also signed this lad, Santa Maria, who's another Peruvian. We signed him just after we signed Rabbity, just because I felt like we needed a bit more, just a little bit extra to just to rotate the squad. The squad was a bit thin in certain areas, like left back and specifically as attacking midfield. I felt we were just a bit thin. Santa Maria actually, his first touch for us, not just his first game, his first touch was a goal. He came off the bench and like the first thing he did, I crossed the ball over to him. He's completely free on the opposite side of the box and he just passes it in the net. So yeah, very, very good start to the club for him. And actually I brought him off the bench in the game I just played in the Checkatrade Trophy, and he got another goal in that. So he's actually had a very good, even though he's only played like probably max like 20 or 30 minutes in total, he's scored 2 goals for us already. So he's actually had a very good start. He actually got sent off as well, which is unfortunate. But he's had let's say a mixed start to his career here, but I think overall you would say it's a pretty positive start. But that's pretty much everything we've done. We sold a couple of players. We sold a striker who was getting on quite a bit. I think he was like 33. Wasn't like going to do anything setting the world on fire. He wasn't a massively great rated player. He was all right. He was probably I think about 61 rated or so. So he was in there, but I think somebody came in for 100 grand for him, and I was like, right, how about 130? And they accepted that. So I think that was a pretty decent deal. And we also sold a centre back who again wasn't great rated, and we already have like I think 4 centre backs in the squad. Yeah, 4 centre backs in the squad, so we don't really need a 5th. And we got 135 grand for him, and I actually added a 12% sell-on clause onto that contract. So if the club who sells him, he's only like 23, so if the club then sells him again in the future, I'll get 12% of that back. So yeah, if he does become really good, which I highly doubt, we will get quite a hefty amount of money. But even if he doesn't, if they do sell him on, we'll get something from him again. So yeah, I think it was probably a pretty good all-round deal. As for the squad itself, we do have quite a lot of young players, like especially centre-back roles. Like these guys are 23, 21s. Fullbacks, he's 28, I think he's the oldest, 22. Midfield's not bad either. I think a couple of 29-year-olds, but all in all, pretty decent youth in midfield. But it's when you get to the striker role, Matt Green's now 30, so he's not going to get any better. He's probably going to start going down rating soon. Palmer's only 25, but he's got, like, he's not the type of striker I like to have as my first choice striker. He's good to have, to bring him off the bench, big physical lad, you can stick him in the box, chuck balls at him and he'll knock them down. But I'd much rather a kind of pacey, agility style striker, creative striker, as opposed to somebody big and physical. So yeah, we have this 18-year-old guy who I think does have some decent potential, but I'm not sure how great his potential truly could be. We also have a player in our youth team. We have signed 3 players into our youth squad who all look like we could be pretty good. Potentials up to... Well, this goalkeeper's got potential of 68 to 92, so I think he's our highest potential player and could be really good in the future. But this Igor Cardozo is 67 to 89 potential. He's already 52 and he's only 16. So yeah, I think by the end of the season, he will probably have signed a permanent professional contract with us and will be playing, not every game, but some games. He'll be coming off the bench. I think he might be our number 2 by the end of the season. But yeah, it's good to see these
youthful players coming through and could potentially be something in the future. We've got a transfer request. Sam Habergam, our left back that we don't really use, but I'm not really wanting to sell him. How much are you? 350 grand. I mean, he's valued up to 400. Nah, we don't want to sell him. We don't want to sell him. We've already just found ourselves a left back who can kind of fill in the squad role, and we don't really need another left back leaving, because then we'd have to find another one to fill that gap. So I think for now I'm quite happy with the squad. I'm not really wanting to sell anybody else. But we'll go fire through the transfer deadline day, see if anything ridiculous happens. Plattenhardt, never heard it. Has gone. So it's a hard name to pronounce. He's gone from Hertha Berlin to Bayern Munich for 11.5, just over £5 million, which is quite a hefty fee, given that I've never heard of the boy before, so I'm not sure how good he is. Yeah, not much to say about that really. It's quite a hefty transfer fee, but Giovinco, who's he signed for? Hang on, go back. I want to find out who Giovinco's signed for. Here we go. Valencia have signed Giovinco from Toronto to Valencia for 33 million. That's a hefty transfer fee, but he is a good player. He's been setting the MLS on fire over the recent years, so that's an interesting deal. Valencia has been linked to Real Madrid. What kind of madness is that? Azpilicueta has just moved from Chelsea to Atletico Madrid, filling the gap that Felipe Luis just opened for £51.5 million for a left back. I mean, I think the transfer market in this game is actually kind of less than it is in reality. It was funny, I was playing a game and they started talking about Ousmane Dembele, and they said that the transfer fee was in the region of 50 million. I was like, try adding 100 to that, because it's nowhere near what it's actually the real life valuation of him was when he moved to Barcelona. So yeah, I think 51 million in this game is still a lot of money for a left back as well. That's a lot of money. But that has filled the gap at Atletico Madrid that was made vacant by Felipe Luis joining Napoli. But I don't know who Chelsea will get to fill that gap. Also, I'm pretty sure Azpilicueta is technically a centre-back in this game. I'm not sure he's still a left-back. I think he changed to being a centre-back halfway through last season, so I think this game he's actually a centre-back. Probably capable of playing left-back, but it's yeah, interesting deal. And it would appear as if Chelsea aren't going to replace him, so whether they think they've already got a ready-made replacement, maybe Baba Rahman, not really sure, but that is the end of transfer deadline day, and £431 million was spent, which is quite a hefty amount of money for a transfer deadline day. And yeah, some decent deals went through. Actually, so far in the season, we've been doing pretty well. As for the table, we're sitting, where are we, 4th. Played 4 games, got 9 points. So we dropped 1 game, we lost 1 game. Can't remember who it was against that we lost. Time. I'll have a look at our calendar. Yeah, we dropped 1 game. Notts County. No, it's not. Back a month. Here we go. Exeter. That was it. Yeah, Exeter. We lost 3-2. It was a very open game, end to end, and ultimately we lost 3-2 in that game. But we started the season well. 1-0 win over Wickham. Then Burton Albion. This game actually went to extra time, and with about a minute left in extra time, we managed to score a winner. So very happy with that. We then beat the mighty Shrimps 3-0, absolutely thrashed them. So no love lost for our previous club, and obviously losing to Exeter. We then had a very tough draw in the next round of the League Cup against Norwich, which we won 3-2. That was all 5 of those goals coming in the first half. The game was so open in the first half. It looked like every time one of us went forward, we were going to score a goal, and in the second half, neither of us could score a goal. So, yeah, we managed to come through that 3-2 in the end, progressing into the next round. I'm not sure who we've been drawn against yet. We then beat Carlisle 3-1 in the league, and then beat Wickham 3-1 in the Checkatrade Trophy, which now leads us into where we are now, which we're going to be playing Luton soon. Yeah, Bournemouth in the next round of the League Cup. So, continuing this hard the streak of hard clubs. We're only into round 3 of the League Cup, and we've already played a Championship side, and now we're playing a Premier League side. So yeah, we're not having the best of luck when it comes to the draw for the League Cup, but we'll make the most of it. Hopefully, we'll try and get through that game. I don't know if we will or not. It's going to be a challenge, I think, to beat Bournemouth. Norwich, I mean, they could have probably easily won that game. As I said, it was so open. It was like every time one of us went forward, it looked like we were going to score. And I was lucky to get 3 goals. They could have scored more. And yeah, somehow we managed to come through that game. I think Bournemouth is going to be a different question altogether. But that has been episode number 1 of the brand new Road to Glory with Lincoln City. And yeah, just seeing Azpilicueta standing there in his Atletico Madrid shirt. It's a strange sight. It's a strange sight. I didn't expect to see that any time. But yeah, that has been episode 1. So if you've enjoyed this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe as well if you're new around here and want to keep up to date with all my stuff. And I'll catch you... can't even speak English. I'll catch you guys next week. So yeah, until then, cheerio.